Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Sarah Wildey-Richmond and I'm the professor of bassoon at UT San Antonio, go Roadrunners, and I'm here to help you with your All-State Etudes. This is Year E. We'll be focusing on numbers 21 and number 30 from the Weissenborn. With this, let's go ahead and start with number 21. Number 21, I love that it's a slower, more lyric etude. We get to put a little bit more emotion into it, and this is just overall a very laid back and relaxed piece. Let's talk about a few important things. If we're looking at measure 3, we see that on the and of beat 3, we have a S that looks like it's fallen over on itself. That is called a turn. Now take note that there's an itty bitty sharp symbol underneath that turn. That's going to be very important. So what is a turn? It's just a fancy term to show us how to ornament this to make it sound a little bit more nice, a little bit more fancy. How we execute a turn is we always start on the note that we see that's underneath that S that's fallen on its side. In this case, it's a G natural. What we're going to do is we're going to play the note that we see, play the note above, go back to the note we see, play the note below, and then finally end once again on that note that we see. So we're going to have that G happening 3 times in that span. So when we go to the note above, that's an A natural. We go G, A, back to G, and then we go to the note below, which normally that would be an F natural in this key. However, that little itty bitty sharp sign that I said was really important, that means that for the F, instead of playing an F natural, we play an F sharp. And oh my goodness, that makes the technique so much easier to play an F sharp instead of an F natural. So we're down on the F sharp and we finally end on a G natural again. So we go G, A, G, F sharp, G. And this all happens in a pretty small amount of time. It looks more complicated than it is because fingering wise, we're just moving around mostly with our right hand. If we put it into context, starting on that C, beginning beat 2 and going to the end of the measure, it is a lot happening there, but very much doable for anyone and everyone. I really recommend until you get used to the basic rhythm, leave that turn out for a little bit and then put it in. If we are then looking at measure 8, oh my goodness, we have a whole bunch of other notes that are coming in there as well for those turns. For this one, you can see that on the very first turn, you have a natural that's written above the turn and a sharp that's written below. So that means that we're going to start on the note A, and we're going to go A, B natural, A, G sharp, A. On the next beat, we have a natural underneath the turn. So we go C, D natural, C, B natural, back to C. With this particular measure, it's a bit trickier because it's happening on a dotted 8th 16th rhythm as well. So for this one, we're going to put the turn pretty much on the dotted 8th, a little bit longer than what we had for the first one, which was just an 8th note G. And then we have to remember to add in that 16th. And up to the E. If we put it into tempo, again, you can see where that gets really tricky really quick. So I would really recommend just doing the bass rhythm and eventually adding that in. Becomes a lot easier. When we get to measure 9, we have a B flat to C trill. Now, please do not be wiggling your bottom hand on and off for your B flat to C, your right hand. It's going to be much harder. A very simple trick that we can do, just play your normal B flat fingering and wiggle the ring finger of your left hand. That's all you need to lift, and you'll have a fantastic B flat to C trill. And measure 10, A to B flat trill, we just have to add our thumb. That one's pretty easy overall. When we're looking at measure 13, ignoring the C grace note, the low C, again, we have a B flat to C trill. Just use the ring finger of your left hand to make your life easier. And in measure 14, we have, again, an A to B flat trill. So that just means wiggling our right thumb. Let's talk a little bit, though, about that big leap that happens in measure 13, from the low C all the way up to our high B flat. For that particular leap, that's a huge leap overall. What I would really recommend doing is do feel your airspeed slightly increase, like a crescendo going up to your upper B flat, but don't pinch your embouchure. If we pinch our embouchure, it does come out, but it starts to get really sharp and pinched sounding, and it doesn't have that same lyric quality. It will make it harder to do the trill as well. What I recommend is just singing that crescendo, increasing the air. Again, this is something that will take a little bit of practice, but as long as you're not really squishing your air, you're not squishing your embouchure, you're thinking about a gentle crescendo to support the air, it's really going to help. Let's go ahead and play through some of this, and we'll talk about a few more things. Overall, it doesn't take a ton of time to get through that etude. Now, I really focused on trills, I focused on turns, but there are a couple things that I did not mention in here that are very important to talk about. If we're looking at measure 7, you'll see something that looks like a quarter note rest that fell over on its side. Totally omitted that at first. Now let's go ahead and dig into that a little bit. That right there is a mordant. Think about that like a baby trill. Normally when we're doing a trill, we're going back and forth between two notes multiple times. In terms of this mordant, we only go to that upper note once. So in this case, your first mordant that happens on measure 7, beginning on beat 4, it's on an E natural. So right there, we just go E, F, E really quick. And then on the and of beat 4, you see another one on the note C. So we just go C, D, C really quick. Going really slow through that one beat of measure 7. You can hear we're just adding in a couple of extra notes. It's not a long trill. We're not going. Ooh, that was a lot to put in there, and it would just take up way too much time. It would destroy the foundational rhythm of this. Like we had talked with some of the turns, don't worry about trying to play this the first couple of times. Know how it sounds, know what you're supposed to do for it, and then slowly work into that when you feel more comfortable with the bass rhythm overall. So again, just playing measure 7. You can see measure 7, measure 8. These are the ones where we have to focus a lot of our technique, where this is where we have to pay a lot of attention to some of these finesse things. In terms of fingerings for this, we do have some notes that we may not see as often in our music. So I'll include here pictures of the standard fingering for our high A, which we see all the way in measure 1, but we also see starting in measure 7, we start to see our high G, and we have a standard fingering for that as well. One thing that I did include in here that's not written is, obviously we're not playing this entire etude, correct? We're stopping at the end of measure 16. In here, it would feel really incomplete if I just rushed to the end, keeping to the tempo. So a little bit of a retard in there can help it to feel a bit more settled, a bit more final. If I just start in measure 13 and play to the end, the cut that we have, without having a retard in there, it's not bad, but doesn't it sound so much more relaxed when we slow down into that ending? It helps to make it feel a bit more final overall, so I really recommend that. If we are looking at measure 13, one unique marking that we may not see as much, on the last beat and a half where we have 16th notes, we have a slur, but we also have staccatos. What exactly does that mean? We do want to articulate, but we also don't want it to be staccato. It should be thought of as something very legato and connected. We don't want it to sound like that kind of ruins the mood of it overall. But as we can see from a lot of this etude, a lot of it's slurred, so we also don't want it to be. We have to have a middle ground, so think of very light legato tonguing. It kind of helps to feel a bit more relaxed in there and make it feel a little bit more like a lullaby, something really soft and sweet. I hope this helps you as you're working on your etudes, and if you have any questions, I highly encourage you to reach out to me. You can always reach out to me via email, and good luck with your etudes.